Right, Math 1, Linear and Exponential Functions 2.4. So in these first ones, well, the first and the fifth term are given in a sequence, and we're going to find the missing numbers for if it were arithmetic, what it would look like, and if it's geometric, what would it look like, to kind of see some similarities in those as well as the differences. For example, starting at 4 and getting to 324, we'd have to add 80 each time. Geometrically, we'd be multiplying by 3 to get to each one. Okay, so arithmetically, if we want to go to 3 to 48, what are we going to be having to add? Okay, well, it can be difficult to think through, so a good way to think through it is to realize, okay, we would be adding a number 4 times, so it would be 4 plus 4, or not 4 plus 4, be some number plus some number plus some number plus some number to get to 48. Okay, well, that's like 4 times that number, right? So then 48 minus 3, okay, what would that have to be equal to? Well, it would be 48 minus 3, the difference between those two numbers. So 48 minus 3 would be 45. 4x would equal 45. So we divide it by 4. Okay, and we'd get x equals, well, about 11.25. So if I added 11.25, we'd get 14.25 plus 11.25 would give us 25.5 plus 11.25 would give us 36.75 plus 11.25 would give us 48. Okay, now what about if we were multiplying? Okay, so here we'd now be going some number times by 4 times, or some number to the 4th, right? So then we'd go, what's the difference? 48 divided by 3. Well, 48 divided by 3 would be 16. So what times what times what times what would give us 16? Okay. So, if we think about it, 16 is like 4 times 4, and 4 are each 2 times 2, so that would give us multiplying by 2. So if we times by 2, that would be 6. Times 2 is 12. Times 2 is 24. Times 2 is 48. So, quite a bit of work just to do these tables, isn't it? Alright, so now we have negative 6,250, and we have to get up to negative 10. So again, we have some number that we're adding 4 times together, and we have to figure out how to get there. So I take the difference, so I go negative 10 minus a negative 6,250, which would be 6,240, and I'm going to divide it into 4 pieces. So if I divide it into, that would go once, then 5, and then 6, and 0. So we were going to be adding 1,560 each time. So we would go negative 6,250 plus 1,560. That would give us negative 4,690. Then do it again, which would give us negative 3,130. We do it again and we get negative 1,660, and then that would take us to negative 10. Now, if we are doing the multiplication for the geometric. So what number would we multiply by each time? Well, to do this one, we would go negative 10 divided by negative 6250. And that would give us, if we got a decimal, 0.0016, which was kind of like that 16 up here, which we split into 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So that would be 0.0002 each time. Actually, because when we multiply, it'd give more zeros, it would just be 0.2. So we'd times by 0.2 each time. So negative 6250 times 0.2 would give us negative 1250 times 0.2, give us negative 250 times 0.2, would give us negative 50 times 0.2 would give us negative 10. Alright, so the last one. Okay, so again, same idea. I've got negative 0.75, and I'd subtract a negative 12 from it. So that would give us a negative 11.25, which I would need to cut that into 4 pieces. So it would be about 2.8125 we'd be adding each time. So negative 12 plus 2.8125 give us negative 9.1875, and plus 2.8125 again, negative 6.375, plus 2.8125 be negative 3.5625, and then add plus 2.8125, and that gives us negative 0.75. Now for the multiplication, we'd go negative 0.75 divided by negative 12. That gives us 0.0625. Okay, so that one's going to be a little trickier to split up. So, the way to think about this one is it's got a 5 at the end. So what if we did 5? If I go 5 times 5, that's 25. Times that by 5, that's 125. Times that by 5, that gives me 625. So I just need to do it as a decimal. So it would end up being 0.5 that I multiply by each time. So 12 times 0.5 would be 6. Times 0.5 would be 3. Times 0.5 would be 1.5. And these are all negative, by the way. Times by 0.5 would be negative 0.75. So, quite a bit of work for just those few problems. Alright, now in these last ones, we want to compare the characteristics of these two types. So, on the left side, we should be able to notice we've got a plus, and then the growth is multiplied. So that's linear. We could also call it arithmetic. Okay, on the right, we've got a multiply and then a power. So that's exponential or geometric. Okay, and I suppose this is where we'd write the sequence geometric. So this top part would just be exponential. So this one would be linear, and its sequence is arithmetic. Okay, if we make a table of values, we start with 4 on both of them. So 0, 4, 0, 4. This one we're times them by 3 each time. So 1, 2 would be 12, 36. Here we'd be adding 3 each time. So 1, 2 would be 7, then 10. Okay. Now the rate of change, well, this one is adding 1 on this side, adding 1 on this side, so it would be 3 over 1. Okay. Our slope, or rate of change, would be adding 3 over 1. On the right side, we're timesing by 3, so our rate of change would be timesing by 3. Okay. Now if we graph them, so 0, 4 would be about there, 1, 7, then, oh, that's 6. So 1, 7, 2, 10, then 13, 16, and so it would go up like that. For this one, we'd have 0, 4, so same starting, right? Which is one of the same things, is that they have the same Y-intercept. Okay, then 112, and then 236 would be clear up here, so it would look like this. Okay, so it's the same. Well, they have the same Y-intercept. Okay, they're growing by the same number. It's just one is added and one is multiplied, so that's what's different, is how they're growing. Okay, so the Y-intercept, you can see it in the table here and here, or here and here, and so they both have the same Y-intercept, 0, 3. All right. Okay, well, there we go with that one.